What's new at Charlie's? What's new at Charlie's? Still on Main. What's new at Charlie's? Tell me what's new at Charlie's? Still on Main.
Well, hi, welcome back to another edition of What's New at Charlie's. Today we're going to be opening up a bottle of Basil Hayden Subtle Smoke. Now, one of the most, not most common, but a question I get a lot is, can you get me a smoky bourbon? And there aren't a whole lot of smoky bourbons. It doesn't really go together. It's more of a Scotch thing. But you know, we have a couple here that have a little more smoke maybe than others. So I'm really excited to try this to see if it fits into that category. And I know from a fact there's a demand for it because people ask for it all the time. But you know, maybe my good friend Mr. Don Williams, the Bourbon Fool, knows a little more about smoky bourbons.
You know, there's a big demand now for these fancy smoked cocktails.
We do that here at Charlie's. Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Right?
We don't want to miss the boat.
I've seen them made. They intrigue me.
Yes.
I'm always worried that the smoke's going to hide the bourbon, which is a personal thing of mine.
Yeah.
But this is an attempt by Basil Hayden to take the marketplace by storm a little bit.
Yeah.
Because if it works, and hopefully it's going to, it's going to satisfy a lot of those people who are looking for a smoky bourbon.
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, people ask all the time, man. Probably once a week somebody asks me for a smoky bourbon. Yeah.
So they do it by a secondary barrel.
Okay.
They age it in a secondary barrel that was toasted and a little bit of char, not much. They actually call it roasting versus charring.
Okay. All right.
And then they light up some hickory chips and they infuse the smoke into the barrel. So they actually blow smoke into the barrel.
So they're blowing smoke up its bung.
Something like that.
Okay, all right, sure.
I knew something like that was coming. I wasn't sure what it was going to be. And then they age it for another 6 months, and this is the finished product. And, you know, Basil Hayden has been gaining in popularity, period.
Oh, yeah, it's one of our top selling bourbons here at Charlie's. Right. People ask for it all the time. A lot of different variations have come out, and they seem to be coming out a little faster than the past years. We just had Toast. So I think we did a video on that.
I really like that.
Yeah, it was very nice, easy drinking. That one was quaffable now. That was quaffable. I think that might have been the first quaffable one we had.
It was. In fact, it was so early you didn't even remember to use the word
possibly.
quaffable.
It may have not been the first one, but yes. But you know, I mean, as far as I know, it started with the dark rye. There was the Caribbean rye, or it was the Caribbean rye, whichever you prefer.
Right.
And then they had a 10-year-old.
There's actually a couple more.
They had a 10-year-old rye, Basil Hayden rye.
Yep.
And then either the toasted. Now this is the newest one is Subtle Smoke. So, so do they blow smoke in it for 6 months or
no?
Just like
my guess is, and again, this is a little bit of speculation.
Yeah.
And it's probably some private corporate information, but my guess is they infuse it once, cover it up, seal it, and let it sit.
All right.
Because it is subtle smoke, okay?
Yeah.
But, a little bit about Basil Hayden. Basil Hayden has grown to be like the 5th largest selling brand in the United States.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
And, that's an accomplishment because when Booker Noe put the small batch series together, it was kind of a new concept. It only dates back to 1992.
Sure. Yeah.
And literally he named this bottle or this blend in honor of Basil Hayden, who was a historical figure in the distillery business, came from Maryland to Kentucky, was known for making high rye whiskey himself.
Yeah.
And it's quite a story that, and again, because it's 80 proof, I think a lot of beginners latch on to this.
They are usually pretty easy drinking.
Right.
They're all 80 proof, I believe.
I believe so too.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of the popularity. It's a good beginner especially for someone who doesn't like the high octane stuff
Sure.
like you and I sometimes prefer.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes. But it is high rye, huh? So it's, do you know what the mash bill is, or?
Yeah, I want to say that it's in the 27% range.
Okay, yeah.
So that's on
a
the
higher
high
than-
end.
Yeah.
So the corn's down a little bit, so we should get a little bit more spice.
Okay.
And I'm really, really interested to see what kind of smoke we get out of it.
Let's crack it open and find out, man. Me too. There you go.
So remind me to give everybody the greatest trivia question, bourbon trivia question.
Okay.
When
All
we're
right.
done
Before we
here.
wrap up, we're going to give a trivia question. Should we tell them the answer, or let people write in the answer, and then revisit it next time, or? We'll talk.
well,
we'll think about what you're
We'll
drinking.
think about what we're
it.
going to do.
Okay, I'm going to go with the smoke is very subtle.
So I actually get a little bit more smoke on the nose than I do on the palate.
Yeah. Yeah.
So honey, vanilla,
Yeah.
you know,
I mean, that being said, it's a fantastic bourbon. It tastes great. I wish there was a little more smoke for the name, but you know, everyone's tastes are different. See what you get,
I'm trying to see what happens if it opens up a little bit.
maybe. I think they could have blown a little more smoke up the tongue.
I don't know. I don't want to get thrown off YouTube. Okay, be
Could
careful.
Could that happen? We'll move to TikTok, damn it.
So it is very drinkable.
Oh, dude, that's great drink. Easy drinking.
Yeah, and I think that the thing that I can say without reservation is if you like regular Basil Hayden, you're going to like this.
Oh, you're gonna love it.
Okay, because it's a different variation. It brings on, I'm not going to say as much smoke, but a little bit of caramelized, kind of.
Maybe the hickory.
Yeah,
A little hickory.
A little bit of hickory.
Yeah.
It's a little bit different, and I think that the people who enjoy low-proof bourbons are going to really like that.
Yes.
So another good choice.
Oh,
And,
yeah.
You know, I don't venture down the 80 proof road very much anymore.
Right.
But that would be one that I would recommend to a lot of people who were just starting out.
Absolutely. Yeah. Like I said, it drinks great. I think that's what we said about the toast. Same thing.
Yeah.
Drinks great. Definitely quaffable. But yeah, I do wish I had a little more smoke to it. Putting smoke on the name, I would like to see a little more because I think people will be looking for it. Might be a little disappointed. But if you just go into it with an open mind, it's a really nice bourbon.
Right. And you know, there's a lot of people who might detect smoke better than you and I.
That's what I said. You know, everybody's tastes are a little different, and
Right.
you know.
And you know, it wouldn't surprise me if someone says, "Wow, that's a lot of smoke,"
It's possible.
because
Yeah.
people's palates are different.
Yeah.
And everybody needs to remember that just because we taste something doesn't mean that you're wrong if you don't taste it. Your
Yeah.
palate's just slightly different.
Sure, absolutely. I taste things different than Don, and happens at the bar all the time. People ask me something, do they taste this or taste that? I may not taste it, but you know, I may taste something completely different. But you know, that's to me. I've said it a million times. My taste is more I like it or I don't like it, and most of the times I like it. I find.
Yeah, yeah. There's not too many bad bourbons. There's just some that are better than others. You
Yeah.
know? And
Yeah.
but
I really like this. I think this is a great drinker. This would be an easy sipper. Just would like to see a little more smoke. So, but you know what? I got one of them smoker things.
yeah,
I'll just add my own smoke to it.
that's right.
And we'll call it Charlie's More Than Subtle Smoke.
That's right.
Let's hear the trivia question.
So this is one of the great stories in bourbon, and you can win a lot of bar bets with this one. So we want you to like the video. So we don't ask you to do that very much, but if you like the video, it helps us out a little bit.
Sure.
And you can always subscribe to the video channel too. And all that means is that whenever we release a new one, you get notified.
Yeah, there's no spam involved, right?
Right,
You don't
nothing.
spam people, do you?
Nothing whatsoever.
Yeah, all right,
But so anyway, Basil Hayden actually had a grandson who became a distiller in his own right. And his grandson, Raymond, learned a lot from his grandfather. So when Raymond produced his very first batch of whiskey, he named it Old Granddad. So Basil Hayden is the only person in the Kentucky bourbon world that basically has two different brands in his honor.
Wow.
And I think that is a pretty cool designation.
That is a pretty cool designation, yeah.
And there's a symbol, there's a lithograph image on an Old Granddad bottle. That's Basil Hayden.
Really?
Yep.
I did not know that.
So.
Now I know. So you're not going to win a bar bet at Charlie's. Try it somewhere else, but yeah.
Well,
yeah.
you can still, just don't ask us.
That's true. Don't ask us or anyone to watch the video. So
That's
That's
right.
us. All right, buddy. Well, thank you so much. Like I said, once again, another fine whiskey here at Charlie's. Come by and give it a try, or pick up a bottle for yourself. Cheers, buddy.
Cheers. Thank you, everyone.
What's new at Charlie's? Still on Main. What's new at Charlie's? Tell me what's new at Charlie's? Still on Main.